Welcome to Ride the Wave, hosted by me, Jeff Fisher, and co-hosted by Mark Robinson, in partnership with the Ride the Wave Foundation. Visit us at ridethewave.org, where we're dedicated to empowering their lives through free resources in servant leadership, mental health wellness, and how to find a purpose. At Ride the Wave, we believe in the power of every story, talent, and voice. Our commitment is clear: to bridge divides, unite communities, and build an all-inclusive, modern campus for those experiencing homelessness. So let's dive in and ride the wave of positive change together. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. Mark, good to see you.
Likewise.
What's happening?
It's cooler, man, you know.
Absolutely. Everything's good. Excited. We have Javon back. You may hear a familiar voice or see a familiar face again. Javon is a friend. He also has a business, skill sets over paychecks. He's part of the Kingdom movement, You can take a look at that at kingdommovement.com. He has the Kingdom Talks podcast. He's a father of 2 daughters, family man, great guy. He's someone who's very deep in faith and somebody I respect too. So Javon, it's a pleasure.
It's good to be here again.
Yes.
Let's get it.
I know. It could be endless. You could be on all the time,
sir.
Every day.
Come on.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So today we're going to talk about the evils in Hollywood. It's a bit of a different topic than we normally do. And you know, some people may ask, oh, how does this tie into the foundation? Or, you know, sometimes we'll have subjects that might be like this. But I think it's important, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. We are positioning ourselves with the foundation a certain way. We know our ethics. We want to do good and bring good into the world. And I think it's important for us to, as we face people we deal with, to have an understanding of culture and what's going on. And everything that's happening, or when we're watching television, listening to music and things like that, that really affects us. So it's, where does that come from? What's the source? And everything that's happening and coming out. So we're just going to have an open, real talk about that kind of stuff so we can get an idea of what's out there. So, you know, we could better position ourselves and know who we are. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
And talk about something that's really wild and interesting too.
Yeah.
It's wild. So the question to you, Javon, is, as a person of faith,
Let's go.
how do you interpret the recent revelations about figures like P. Diddy and Harvey Weinstein? What do these incidents reveal about the broader culture in Hollywood?
So I'll start it off by saying that every human being is spiritual first, right? I think sometimes we think that we are physical beings experiencing a spiritual life. But honestly, it's the opposite. We are spiritual beings experiencing the carnality of the world, the earth, the human aspect, right? So we're spirit first, human second. So when you come from that context, from my context, when we see Genesis 1, we all know the story. Let us make man in our image and likeness, right? Genesis 1 is talking about this God creating the spirit of mankind. So that's man and woman combined is
Right.
mankind, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Genesis 2 is talking about how he formed man out of creation. So he formed man out of the dust of the earth, right? So when we see that, our spirit man and then our human bodies, they're 2 different natures, right? You have the spirit, then you have the flesh. So when you start to understand that, that if we are spirit first, and then we're human second, right?
I said I wasn't going to do that. Right?
Until you
I was like, make sure you guys have
crazy.
your phone on silent. Mark, that's how that. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. But with that plays a huge role into influence, right? Influence that we don't see behind closed doors. So there's a lot of things with success and failures that happen behind closed doors that you don't see. You just see the effects of what was happening in the dark, right? So when we look at Hollywood and when we look at figures that we look up to, it's not until light starts to expose darkness. Right.
Right.
Go ahead.
I feel like that we are in that exposure
Oh yeah.
process. Bro. We're in that phase of revealing this is what it is. So, and then it's coming to light. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's because you have to shine a light on the darkness.
A lot of stuff is
before we
getting
can do
exposed this year.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is coming out now.
Yeah. And somebody like with P. Diddy, it's kind of interesting too, because I heard on another show that a lot of white people were very shocked, but black people tended not to be. They knew the depths of P. Diddy too. Remember we were talking about that?
Yeah.
It's interesting that somebody like that can get away with that. Like that.
I mean, with it, like that's the whole thing I'm talking about, like closed door meetings, right? And different things like that. So when you look at things like the Freemasons, a lot of Freemasons are law enforcement. They're in political arenas, right? Skull and Bones is literally like it came off of Ivy League school campus, right? This is background stuff that are secret societies that the whole purpose is you are part of the secret club that society don't know about. So it will only make it right that when that happens, just put up your symbol. Yeah. Just say a certain word and you'll be good. Yeah. That's so that stuff happens.
Yeah, right. I understand. And I also feel like it's set up. It's set up in a way that you're pursuing something for a selfish reason to be famous, I think. Or maybe not. I guess I take that back. If you want to help people and it's a part of that recognition or something like that. But I think if it comes from a place of insecurities or not knowing yourself, or you're willing to make money right away, especially if you're young, just say, oh, I will do anything. I'll literally sell my soul to be famous and be popular and to have all these different things.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's almost like you put yourself in a position to get taken advantage of. And then by people that are in positions of power, they know that. They know you're willing to do whatever it takes. So they'll be creepy.
And it's hierarchy in everything. Like in everything that we have in life.
Right. Yeah.
And even in the spiritual world, like the angel.
In the animal kingdom too.
All of it. Yeah. Is how it was designed. You get what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter whether you're doing good or evil. It's still a hierarchy. There's levels that you have to tap into that gets you access to certain things. So this is why you'll have a P. Diddy and you'll have different individuals that people are now seeing like, man, I didn't know they were doing that. But you knew they were wealthy. Like wealth doesn't come with I just decide to become like there's certain stuff that happens that you put in the work, you put in the time, you put in the skill, but then there's a certain level that you have to tap in spiritually in order to get to that next level. And then there's a next level after that where it's like, man, we talking about families of generational wealth that is just beyond what we're ever even going to know because of groups and bloodlines and all that type of stuff. So a lot of that stuff is connected through bloodlines, right? Like there's families in place that would never be broke, that would never be poor. But with that, it becomes less about the money and it becomes more about the power. You get what I'm saying? So when we're seeing this type of stuff, like I say it all the time, man, the three things that causes people to fall, which I said this on the first time I was here, it's the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Those are the only really three things where people are going to like fall to their face.
Yeah, and there's everything aligns with that world, partying, clubs, drugs. It just seems set up to be like a hedonistic like spot where that type of stuff. I am glad to see that there are good also actresses too that do face-based things. Angel Studios. So I guess like what you were saying there, at some point, whatever level, there is that choice of, do I go bad or good, right? I mean, could it be that simple, right? Like saying no to something, turning down $1 million for something that will, affect your soul or you normally wouldn't do, that you consider bad, but you say no to that. I feel like God will open up another door for that. You'll find an avenue if you continue to keep working hard and find your own creativity along the way.
Yeah. So at some point you have to trust in something, all right? You have to be obedient to something. You are a human being, which means you're submitting to something, So you have to decide what you want to submit to. And whatever you submit to, there's going to be a reward that comes after that, whether it's good, whether it's bad. That's just the laws of this earth.
I hope I can remember what it was. Denzel Washington, literally this morning, I just saw.
God.
I love Denzel. Actually, part of his commencement speech was a part of what brought me to faith. It was many components, but that was very moving to me, his commencement speech at college. There, it was great. But he said something along the lines of like, when you're in a plane, you trust the pilot to fly you. When you're, I forget what the other example of, but whoever would be control or operating. Well, how come you don't just not worry about it and trust God along your life?
Yep.
You know, basically, like, you're sitting in a plane, you have full trust over a human pilot, but you don't have trust over God to take care of you.
Because it's a
something to that manner. I'm chopping it up.
Yeah.
But it was the way he said it. It was
I definitely get what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Because when that happens, right? So the beauty about the Christian faith is that it's a faith. So faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? Your faith literally gets you access into a different realm. That's why it's like, okay, so what are you submitting to? Like, everybody has faith. Like, we have faith that, you know, this chair is going to keep us up right now, right?
Yeah.
Because
you just trust it.
Because of the mechanics.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a chair. That's what it's designed to do.
Now, is that trust or faith?
I guess
more trust. Yeah, it's
both.
Like
though. It's like this. I trust the chair because I know the chair, because there's chairs everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't. This one may not have a screw in it. I don't know. I just trust chairs.
Right.
But my faith is I just have faith that the chair will hold up. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So
do.
it's both.
Yeah.
So with that, it's like, man, like people they focus on things that they see, right? And here's the thing: they're focusing on the second part of our being, which is the human being, which is the physical aspect, which is temporary. Everything physical is temporary. It's going to die at some point, or it has to be maintained, right? When you start talking about the spiritual things, the things that you do not see, those things are eternal. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about somebody like Harvey Weinstein? The process of getting to that point. Like, you know, could you imagine just sitting there and celebrities, very well known, going up and saying you're a god, pretty much. Harvey Weinstein, God. I mean, you amass all this power. Your ego must just take over. And then to your desires, you feel like you can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And then you start to sexually abuse actresses because they don't say anything. But it's everything comes to the light.
Yeah.
I think you can't get away with anything.
You can't.
It eventually comes to the surface.
You want to know what's
crazy? That was huge when you think about it.
What's crazy is that the thing about God is he doesn't hide anything, right? I started to learn what true holiness is. True holiness in its purest form is transparency, right? Anything that is secret is of the devil. It's like, I'll give you this, but I'm going to need
I have a
this.
question for you.
Go ahead.
I know.
And Mark chime in here too.
Yeah. I know I can help Mark out with something. But if I say it directly, he may, some people just hear things until they experience whatever, may not say anything there. But I secretly, and I'm trying to do good. It's a good secret mission that I have personally. Say things here and there to drop some seeds to point it in the conversation or the direction to later like help him out, to make it better for him to do that. So like I'm secretly, because if we're going to go position ourselves to be good, we don't want to be angry or mean or attack. We want to love our enemies. But like a conversation like this I think is great, because then we have an understanding at least of who really they are, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about that? Scheming for something that's positive, keeping it secret. But I'm not talking about a ceremony or like a weird or like whatever with Cat Williams on Rogan and all, and like what they're saying with the ceremonies and them filming or whoever filmed the what's the owl? Like where they have the ceremonies years back that the guy infiltrated and that, and celebrities go, Kid Rock recently. Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't the Illuminati. It was like the Grove.
Because I know the Illuminati uses the owl.
Yeah. I mean, where they meet, it was, and Kid
Mm.
Rock even was talking about all the celebrities and politicians and
Yeah.
things were there, but they do this like ceremony for wisdom where they're like burning stuff, and it's like a mock of a human sacrifice. I may be mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen it, so
I know what you're
I may
talking
not
about.
be
It's like the
100%.
hour of fire was around the lake and all
right.
that type
So
of stuff.
things like that. It's like, what
There you go.
is this really?
So secret,
Yeah.
right? So you have to understand. Okay, so what is the origin? Like who?
Bohemian Grove. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
I did hear that. But like the thing behind it, who is the originator of this, right? And what is the end goal? So when you look at those two things, the thing that like, because Jesus has said something when he first started the parables, right? When he no longer started speaking plainly because the people didn't receive it. So the parables was a judgment for the people who didn't receive his work. So he said, you know what? I'm not even going to say it plainly anymore. I'm going to put it in stories, and those who are close to me will only know the secrets of the kingdom.
Yeah, and as
what I'm
people, we relate to stories. Stories,
bro.
yeah. That's in any.
That makes
I've mentioned
sense.
it a couple times, right? Lincoln on leadership. Lincoln was that. He told a couple of things that Lincoln did. He's always talked to the people.
Brilliant.
He always met
Mhm.
with people on the street every day, average. Made sure he did that, and he told a lot of stories. That's how he really in meetings and things like that. And I think that we all tell our story. We're telling a story every day. That's
Come
what we
on.
do constantly. If you need something, you're telling a story to get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the saying that we had in sales is facts tell, but stories sell. Right. I can
Okay.
give you
True.
the statistics. I can give you the facts. I can tell you this is true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But until I start bringing up some testimonies
Right.
and selling my personal story, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
right. that was
go ahead,
Go ahead,
Mark.
Mark.
I
Sorry.
couldn't have put that analogy
Mm.
better myself.
Yeah, man.
That's a good analogy. Put it like that.
It's true.
I saw actually Kristen sent it to me while we were prepping. I said I was going to look at a few things, take a couple questions down. And it's a documentary returning, Breaking the Silence. It's interesting. And it's, that's the wrong one. Disney television.
Oh, yeah. I do not let my daughters watch it.
I'll tell you what,
It's crazy.
there was, that's pretty wild. That's not right.
Like literally, like me and my wife, like my daughter doesn't, she saw Mickey Mouse or whatever, but she doesn't know Disney movies. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Is there a reason why?
Oh, it's satanic and sexual. So I remember watching this clip years ago where this guy broke down. I'm talking from Beauty and the Beast to Lion King when like Mufasa and Simba like dropped. It was nighttime and then he dropped to like lay down. And the dust of where he dropped, the word sex came like in the screen, but you don't see it. It goes like if you pause the movie,
Did
you'll
somebody
see it.
alter that? Is that real? That's from the movie?
Go to the movie because
You
I was
did it?
like, nah,
Did
this is
you-
crazy.
did you
Yeah,
do
bro,
it?
I'm telling you, go
Yeah,
to the. I mean, if you can, but
So do you think that there could be some subliminal messaging within?
It's subliminal messaging and everything.
I mean, with it, yeah. So this is what I'm saying. What is the agenda now? Because I love the spirit realm, right? You have to understand. If I can get the kids, I can get a whole generation. I can get a nation, and that's in everything.
Mhm.
The army recruits young,
Right.
right?
When they could
You understand?
program.
You can do so much. If I could just if you're young, you're not going to ask as many questions, but you're also innocent. You're not developed yet. You didn't see the world yet for what it is yet.
Right.
So I can do so much more with taking over something if I get the youth.
Yeah.
So right now, like we're living in a time where when you look at it, every 10 years, every decade, it gets younger. Like the agenda gets younger and younger.
Mhm.
So now it's like I got 2 daughters now. You have so much of the child pornography and all this other stuff and
Right.
pedophilia is
Yeah.
now like this agenda is now to preschoolers.
Yeah, and there
You know
was
what I'm
the
That's
movies when we were
crazy.
growing up, Mark. Like, I remember going. Yeah, so I went. I was young.
Mhm.
I was young, definitely under 17, and I was going to the movies. My mom went to go see something I didn't want to see. It was like a romantic comedy. So while she was there, I went into Rumble in the Bronx. Do you remember Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan?
I've never seen it.
That was not, I mean, there was karate, there was fighting and stuff, but that was not really a lot of cursing, brutal or anything like that. I don't know, like today, what that would even be rated. That was rated R. That was rated R.
For fighting?
I don't know. And I was sitting in the movie theater. A guy walked down with a flashlight, saw me, that I looked young, and he kicked me out of the movie. Standard wise, our PGs, our PG-13s, so different than today. They really let loose.
Dude,
They really let loose.
It's crazy because when you go to Netflix and stuff like that, I don't even think, I mean, there's ratings, but it's so small, but they have other things that it's going to be gory. It's going to be sexual. Like they'll tell you everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just PG-13 or rated R.
But it was such a movie that you wouldn't rate R now. It would be
time change, man.
Yeah, it's
wickedness is more tolerable now.
Yeah, I guess
that's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what it says.
What?
There needs to be a foothold for a while. That has to take place. There needs to be that, and you'll see. People will see. Angel Studios, things like that are going to be popping out of the woodwork. They're going to be good actors, actresses.
Yeah.
Who's the coach from Boston Celtics?
I don't know.
He comes out with some lines and things like that. Being a Christian, things like that. I just think that it's going to, I don't understand sometimes why people don't really see that kind of stuff. Like when upheaval takes place, and it's because this country was founded on it. But why don't people say, like, why are there so many revivals? Why is Jesus stuff popping up everywhere? Like, why, and then I guess people could be in the middle
of what,
like a middle of both,
decision,
no choice, maybe. What do you think about that? Like somebody that doesn't play other side or really just goes in between. Are they, did they choose evil, or if they don't have knowledge of that, like what about that?
So you're automatically with evil. You're just lukewarm.
Lukewarm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna like my coffee lukewarm. I want it hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when people play in the middle, like it's this quick story. Quick story. It was this guy that was literally running, right? And he was running because Satan was chasing him. So he got to this fence and like he was running down the fence and then he hopped on the fence and then Satan left. And then he's like, okay, I got it, right? And then on the other side of the fence was God and his kingdom, whatever. But he just stayed on the fence because he saw Satan leave. And then 5 minutes later, Satan came back and snatched him and said, the fence is mine too, right? And God is like, you're still not over here though. Yeah. You're playing the fence. So it's this is what I mean by submission. What side are you on? It's not, oh, well, I just can't make a decision. I mean, you're making a decision by not making a decision. You get what I'm saying? Right. So it goes deep.
Yeah. And then what it's contrary in that in Hollywood, everybody or people are not of faith or they don't want to pursue good. It makes sense that like that you lean towards doing that, or maybe become susceptible. Like if you go in clean and you're ready to go and you want to do it for, I don't know we have to have a actress or actor come in and have a conversation and just somebody like for the reasons why stuff like that, talk about this, because I'm sure there's struggles with that. And, I know a professional dancer, like things like that in the entertainment industry would be nice to get somebody's perspective on that really. And if they've experienced anybody trying to take advantage of them too.
It's really getting to that level though. You get what I'm saying? Like you can be in the industry and have it and you can make millions of dollars, but there's still another level.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not success in Hollywood. I don't think it's equivalent to how much money you make or anything. It's basically who are you submitting to?
Right. Because there's been celebrities that have said, actually DMX, I know this is not Hollywood, but DMX, I could be mistaken. Some on paper, or you would see them just everywhere. And then their bank accounts are not so good because they're getting taken advantage of by all the production companies and
I think it's the same.
Things like that. They have
the
no
music
money.
Industry, Hollywood, it's brother and sister.
Yeah.
Still influence.
Yeah, I would say entertainment industry.
Yeah.
People like Ashley Judd, Corey Feldman, Terry Crews, Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, Justin Bieber. The list goes on. It's you can't deny the fact that this happens because these people are, you could tell. And with podcasts, long form, you're getting somebody's relaxed, like true person. Like there could be people that lie and stuff like that. But I think that instead of the quick news clips that are always have an agenda and they're always like pumping fear or whatever, or trying to trip somebody, or they're just formatted a certain way, you can really get the truth out sitting like this, just talking to friends or talking about your experiences personally. And that's what's just opened the door.
The podcast industry right now, which I still think is at a low, like I feel like it hasn't even blew up yet. Like, you no longer, like if you ask the average person, do they listen to the radio? Do they listen to podcasts more throughout the week, riding in the car? They go like podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's, I can get real.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was gonna say I just asked somebody that the other day actually. Like and that's part of the way like how I pitch the wave. Like I actually, do you listen to podcasts? Yay or nay?
Yeah, most people will say yes.
Yeah.
You know what
A
I'm
lot of the
saying?
times you're asking a good question because your percentages of yes are gonna go up. And if they don't, you'll know.
And then if not, like, well, would you mind taking a look at this podcast because we're different than a lot of podcasts that's out and we have a foundation, and I go into a little bit of the story but not fully.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
and it works okay. Yeah, I think it's just a good way to flatten it out, to get to people's really true opinions and beliefs and things like that.
And that could come as a threat.
It can. It could also go the other way.
Yeah.
It could, because people could like, all right, young people now fighting, carrying on. It's cool to like, I mean, some pranks are funny, but some are dangerous. There's a guy that goes into like the hood, like really dangerous areas, and goes up and pranks them. He got gun draws on him. But when kids
it's about
see
three dudes that do that now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen. I know who they are. Yeah.
But when you go and you see everybody fighting each other, I talked to Dr. Bo about this too on the show. Like, yeah, what do you expect? And then these kids are flipping up TikTok.
Yeah.
Short memories, literally getting programmed, seeing people fighting on subways. What do you think they're going to become?
Come on.
Like, and that's stemming from, I think, entertainment. The Hollywood, it's almost like that evil permeates because kids want to mirror that because that's what gets you to that, all the cars, all the fame, all that. So they're doing that too on their YouTube channels because they're following the lead. And there's opposite. There's really good people and young people. There's kids that are great entrepreneurs. I met a lot of really good young people that are involved in nonprofits, things like that. So the problem I have is that doesn't get shown as much. The good doesn't go. I almost feel like there should be a rule in the news for every negative, one positive to offset. Because
with it,
you got to also promote the news, or good news, I mean.
But with it, this is why I said you have to understand okay, so who is behind it? What is the origin of this? Who created this? And what is the purpose? And where is it ending? So if I know good news doesn't give me views, cut this all out. We may get 1 or 2 per month.
Well, we're gonna Wave is going to prove that wrong.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Podcasts are threats to the nationalism of news channels and streaming. So when you have this, now you can go to war. You get what I'm saying? Force for good, I would say.
And what will end up, the enemy will probably censor as much as they can.
Oh, he will. Always.
It's already.
Always.
Yeah, of course.
He's a prince of the air. So it's when you have that. That's why I said war. I use that word.
And when I say enemy, by the way, just to clarify, I mean it from a spiritual perspective. Like, I'm a spiritual person, as you guys all know as well. And it's not like enemy a particular person or country or anything like that. It really is a high level aspect, like that spiritual enemy.
See,
really
and that's the thing. It's called, use the word, principalities, right? So when you're dealing with principalities, everybody knows about demons, yada yada yada. Demons are very low when it comes to the hierarchy of darkness, right? They're here. you have different principalities of hierarchy within darkness that rule over nations and regions. That you're like, man, why is Haiti the way it is? Right? Why is this the way it is? It's because there's a certain darkness that is over there that is very powerful. And you don't just come over there just with good intentions. It's not going to work. There's a certain type of spirit that you have to have within God in order to combat that level of darkness of power. So when we're going back to Hollywood, you know, when you were saying when they was doing, you know, their rituals at night, first of all, why is it always at night? So let's keep that there. Two, why are we in the woods? Let's keep that there. The thing about the Christian faith, you can say what you want about it, but you could just walk into a church and ask a question, and here you go. You can't do that with a secret society. You can't do that with hidden agendas. You can't. They're like, why are you stuttering? Like I want to know more about it. So it's like, if I have to shed blood, if I have to be humiliated, if I have to be shamed, if I got to go through all of that, this is a different ritual. Like, this is not good. So when you just call it for what it is, it exposes a lot, but people don't want to know that their celebrities or whatever is doing these things, because they just don't want to know, because they don't want to let them go. You get what I'm saying? It's, no, man, we grew up with him. How can he do that? And then you just brush it away, like, okay, let's get this out, because you're more in tune with the person who faked you out, really. Because acting is still like, if you meet certain actors on shows and stuff, they would tell you, yeah, that's not me. Like, that's not me in real life.
Oh no, it's a character.
Like,
Isn't it odd?
But you're so stuck. You know what I'm saying?
It's so weird, just humans. Like, and the paparazzi is a strange thing too, I feel like. Or, you know, it's as people, humans, like, we could, do that, amass things and put things out that really aren't ours. We could be a product, essentially. And then people will look at you like they know you from the product that you put out. But not only that, they'll treat you like you're in the zoo. If you're at a certain fame where you're walking down the street where paparazzis are taking photos of you. I don't know how they do that. I would never want to do that as a living too. Was somebody just going to the grocery store, your house, and trying to rile them up? I think that's terrible. It should be illegal. It should be, they should start putting laws in place. No more of the kids. That's it. They have to have a police supervision on set. And then they go right home. That's it. You know, Justin Bieber, what P. Diddy, that going to the parties at 12 years old, 13, when he spoke about that. Mushrooms, drugs, all those things. And then the way the media treated him when he was 19-year-old kid, which I was a mess at 19 to 23.
Bro, I was wilding.
Could you imagine being under scrutiny like that? He's lucky. It's amazing he's alive. And it's should have not happened. And I want to know what the deals with the parents with all these things. You know, they're always doing the, or like what happened with Britney Spears and things like that. You know, it's the parents that turn into these evil
and that's the thing we never talk about.
You do our kids.
Is, bro, you literally, okay, so you wanted the money.
Yeah, it's for money.
That's the only, you sold your children and you encourage your children, because children have to stay in things. You get what I'm saying? But like, so is, my daughter likes going to stuff and she like doing stuff, but if it's a good thing, like, she'll go do something else. But if it's something that she needs to do, it's my job to keep her on track. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So my thing is, for these parents out there that have these children that have tapped into this stuff, you had to be pushing them back in the arena, because a child is always going to give you signs when something is off. They are more spiritually connected than we are. So they'll be like, or they'll give you, like, you know your children, so they'll give you a facial expression, they get tight, you're just like, So that means that you, as the governing parent, is pushing them back when they're fighting against something.
I see.
You see? So that's just lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how that can take over like that.
Yeah. So
the entertainment business has a lustful eye for your child, so they can recruit your child, do whatever they're going to do to them, raise them up in the industry, give you the money and let you go about your life while they traumatize your child in the entertainment system. And
stuff is happening. And here it go, like, because we see, like, I think something recently came out a couple of months back, like a year ago, with the Disney Channel children, how they were talking about what they were doing.
New documentary coming out.
And it's like, man, okay, so we hearing this stuff. We see it's going on. What are you going to do about it? People of society.
Yeah.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. I think, there should be just more stricter laws on that kind of thing under 18.
Not if the people in power are the ones promoting it.
Well, we would have to have like good government or good, people that position themselves within power and grow into something that would be able to influence essentially some change within that industry.
It's the I don't know if you've seen this interview, but Tucker Carlson did an interview with the president of El Salvador.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's powerful, man. It's so he just couldn't understand how he got El Salvador, which was like the murder capital of the world. Like they now pass Haiti when it comes to killings, right? And he said, "What did you do?" Right? And the president is a Christian, spiritual guy. And he was like, I have an official answer and then I have an unofficial answer. Which one do you want first? So he was like, the official answer was we increased our army, cops and different things like that. Because the MS-13 gang was running rampant. So when they started to raise up their military, raise up their, cop force, whatever, they started to, as they were pushing them out, MS-13, I think they killed about 87 people in 3 days. Right now, it's only 6 million people in El Salvador. So if we look at that from an American standpoint, because we have more people than them, that would be equivalent to 5,000 people dying in 3 days. That would make every news channel like, yo, what's happening, right? But for them, it was that, right? So he said we had to increase that. Yeah. That's the official. They had to really go to war with gang violence. The other answer was he prayed, right?
Yeah.
And he said it will be impossible for us to fix this. We can't do it because he said the MS-13 gang is wicked. They're not just like a Blood or a Crip down there in North who just foolish, right? These dudes were sacrificing babies.
Wow.
They were doing witchcraft. They were doing some crazy stuff that gave them just this power, right? And like it was like 70,000 of them that was in El Salvador, but MS-13 started in America, right? Then it came to there. So when you start to look at this stuff, okay, they're doing witchcraft, they sacrificing babies, they killing like murders, just crazy. You at some point in your mind, you got to be like, we're gonna need something different. Like we got to tap in because if they're tapping into something of darkness, why are you sitting here thinking that let's just get more cops?
It's right. And I guess when I say this, it really, in hindsight, it was not that long ago. I mean, I came to faith 2 years ago when I was 40, right in the dot, and I'm 42 now. So I agree with you because I can't really relate to myself prior to that, really. Like, I felt like I was a different person there. So I know now, but I say to myself in this position, feeling like I'm blessed with the Spirit, and I have more of an understanding because it does lift some shades from your eyes.
Yeah.
You see certain things and you have some particular knowledge per se of like what's happening there. But I just can't understand why people, if everything you look at is Marvel and bad and evil and good, what makes you think that doesn't exist outside of this if we're here temporarily and we're going to die?
Come on.
Like, why wouldn't that be real? If it's everywhere and that's our paradigm that we're in.
Yeah.
We're in a good versus evil paradigm. We're in an economic paradigm. We're heading towards other things. And it's like we're in whatever phase, but you had mentioned on the last slavery, I think it was comfort. And that even ties in really well right there. I mean, just the way that everything is set up to avoid people from wanting to do that and getting into that. But,
and with it, it's slavery comes in different forms. So if we're sitting here and you guys are putting me onto the industry, I'm broke. I ain't got nothing, right? I just got my talent and my skill and my hard time. And y'all notice that. And then y'all slide me a contract and say, yo, here go $1 million up front. Sign the contract, you can be with such and such studios. And then in the contract, it's like, okay, we're going to need 15 years of your life. You're going to have to produce this much music, this many albums. It has to be at this. So all of this is in the contract, but because I'm broke, whatever, I'm just focused on the 1 million.
I see.
Moms is struggling. Let me just take the 1 million
Sports
up front.
too.
And this check is like, you go to the bank right after you leave, it's going to clear.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But what's the margin that they're making?
But
Right.
see, but the broader, not the broader, the bigger issue is you are now a slave. You know what I'm saying? Just because you ain't getting whipped out on the field, you're still a slave to the contract and the agenda now. You just signed over your name. You get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying, because you're giving another
legal right.
You're giving legal right to for somebody to really like utilize your being, your picture, your photos, your essence, your personality can be altered and changed. So when somebody approaches you, just to tie it in with, people think they know each other, the paparazzi thing, they know the celebrity. I mean, they'll think that they know you, and you're like, if that's not you, and you're upset about it or you're stressed out because people are coming at you talking a certain way, you literally have a false persona the whole time. So you have sold your soul. That's it.
But I mean, with it, like for me, back to the spiritual aspect, Jesus owns it, right? The devil can't ever have your soul. He can't. He has no power over your soul. When you die, he ain't about to judge you. Satan cannot judge you after you die. Only Jesus can, right? So when you look at that from that standpoint, is that you are selling your earthly dominion.
Doesn't scripture, and I could be mistaken, I'm actually asking this genuinely, like have where on God's throne judgment, Jesus is on the right side, almost like a prosecutor.
What
and
you mean?
The
like,
devil does do some stuff there.
I mean,
like
before you die, he is
like almost like a court, like a little bit like Jesus represents you, and then that, or am I way off on that?
No,
okay.
You're in it. So right now, like what Satan does is he tries to accuse you of things now. So picture this. Let's just say that you cheat on your wife. He's not doing this,
No,
but let's just say you do that, right? Satan goes to God and be like, look, your son whom you love so much just cheated. He just sinned.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So he's saying all this stuff. But what Jesus does is my blood has already covered him. Grace is more sufficient than any sin or any accusation that Satan could ever give.
Yeah.
And it's you walking that. This is why, like, when you look at things, repentance is so crazy.
Acknowledgement.
Because Satan and his little dominions didn't have that chance. So they're already angry because they can't repent, but we can.
But you think about it from a human standpoint, if you weren't able to, or you didn't, that would be it. Like we'd just be accepting anything, really. And then we'd be just doing whatever we want all the time. So there has to be some sort of recognition of mistakes and fault. And if you do something, it's wrong. You feel it in your heart, and
it's written on our hearts, bro.
Yeah, that's your natural inclination.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
That's my thing when it comes to morality, right? So if I'm talking to an atheist and he says, well, I don't believe God, we are a progressive race. We progress as time go on. We create our own laws. And my question would be for an atheist who has no absolute truths, all right? Is it okay to eat babies?
You said this,
right?
You said this one. I remember. Yeah.
And with that, that's an important thing, because if you say no,
right,
or even if you say yes, you still have to tap into a realm that is not you.
Yeah.
Right. So the no portion would be, no, it's not okay. So why do you feel that way? Who put that feeling inside of you? If you say yes, why do you feel that way? Who put that inside of you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So either way, bro, you still have to tap into the Genesis 1 man.
You'd be like that too. You know how many cells are in the body right now fighting the war, all the things that are taking place. We don't breathe our air. You don't consciously think about your heart beating right now. All the complexities in the body and the odds of all, and the miles of blood vessels, and the things that are in there.
Crazy.
There's no way.
Not no human making
Random.
that. Ain't no.
Right.
No way.
No.
It's impossible. Yeah,
No.
it's not. It's just. Yeah, so I can't really get with that. I think everybody is entitled to their beliefs and things like that.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I feel bad for people that are in fear, anxiety all the time.
Yeah.
And are just in total fear, and they don't know that it's temporary.
Mm.
And love is victorious. It's just, it hasn't come through yet. It hasn't been reconciled, but one day it will. And if you do have faith and you treat people with love how you want, even if you're in the worst environment and you do something nice for somebody or give, I mean, we're sitting here right now because of the principles of that and what it's going to come out with the collective and everything with training and so
love
I
is
think that's
powerful,
really
man.
important.
Yes, it is.
Really
Yes,
important.
it is.
Love is so powerful. Like the Bible talks about, love covers a multitude of sins. But love is so powerful that you can leave this dimension and love will still follow. That's how powerful it is, that you don't have to be on earth for love to still function. Even if I go down to the sea, let's say I get trapped down in the sea. I don't went too far, right? I got stuck in a submarine. Do you realize that I can still feel for somebody, even though I am miles away from them? My love for them can also be the reason I get out.
Yeah.
It can create a hope for me because I love you that much. I'll do.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of what Jesus did. He said to his disciples, there's no greater love than one to lay down his life for his friend.
Right.
That is powerful, bro. Is that if somebody came in here with a gun and saying, they put a gun to my head and they said, do you love them? But if you say yes, I'll kill you. And I'll be like, I love them. And this is the last time you're going to see me today, Jeff and Mark.
Yeah.
I just laid down my life for you.
But what you did was, I got you.
That love is so powerful that evil itself cannot get rid of it.
One practical, spiritual. I for sure, it started from good. I really believe that in all my being, every cell, every, spirit, everything. Because also it starts that way. That's the first thing that it says in Genesis, or, it was good. When everything was created, it was good. If evil or every human beings and everybody that is so against religion and stuff like that was so strong, and if that really was the one, spiritual or whatever, then it wouldn't be there. It would have been revised a long time ago. It would have been taken out for the manipulators, like what they're trying to do, which is false in Hollywood and how they're trying to manipulate people and stuff like that, and those ceremonies and all that. It's not true, because if they were strong enough, they would have changed that first line. Secondly, who would choose a suicidal negative thought? I don't think, if you were right, I mean, who would really, really choose that?
When we look at how people function behind closed doors, I mean, not how people function behind closed doors, but when that light hits, because darkness is not going to expose darkness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how you know that God is working.
And also too, like, if nobody would choose a negative thought, that kind of confirms that, we would choose, that would be our main choice for everyone. So I think that's where we come from then, if that would be our significant choice. And that's what's on the first line of a book that's wars have been fought over.
I mean, this the beauty of being created is love. You know what I'm saying? That's why Genesis 1 is so impactful, because it's literally everything he created, he called it good.
We probably don't have enough time with this.
Oh, no, we don't.
But
we got to.
What do you think about then? A baby's born in Africa, starving.
Yeah.
What's that? Third generation curse? A baby, innocent young child.
Yeah.
Starving.
So with it, because I think of eternal things, everything is grace by God, right? So that baby starving, right? It's cruel, because we're born into sin. This is a fallen world, right? So literally that action of that mother and father still happened. But here's the thing, is that God is still going to use it for his glory. Also, the beauty that I love about God is that when you have the eternal mindset versus the temporary that people have, let's say that baby dies in 5 years, right? that baby is now going to live and grow up in heaven for eternity.
Mm.
And because people don't have the heaven experience, they're so focused on the earthly thing, which we're only going to be here for about, like, if we're 30, 40 years old, 50 years old, bro, you ain't even got another 50 left. So what is your life going to be like after this?
Yeah.
Right? So with that, the beauty that I love about God is that he makes provision through his people. This is why you do the will of God, right? Because stuff like that happens because of sin.
Oh, okay.
Right. So even if, like, you know, because you have things happening over there where there's so much sin, right? It's so much sin, like literally men raping women and cutting their breast off so that they can't feed their children.
People here can't really.
Nah, they can't fathom that.
You can't.
No.
There are levels of evil that if it was alive right there, that you couldn't even imagine.
I was seeing videos.
I can't. Even.
I forget what platform it was on, but I was looking. I think it was Instagram or something like that. I was seeing videos of, I guess, the men in India or Saudi Arabia, somewhere within that country or surrounding cities or wherever, men literally kicking and beating women on the street.
On the street?
On the street.
People passing.
And I'm looking at.
Why would anyone do that? I can't relate to that.
They're literally beating women with sticks and kicking them. And slapping
I mean, it's the
them.
same reason.
Out in the open in front of people.
Not Gran Turismo.
And nobody's doing
Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
So weird.
And they doing this on the street and nobody's stopping it.
But that's the thing.
People literally looking at
what do you think that is,
this.
Mark? Like, what do you think that is? Like, why would
somebody
go
Mark.
up to somebody like that? Yeah, like.
So.
It's so mind-boggling, really. Like
come on,
my head will explode.
Oh man, the scripture just came to mind.
All right,
go ahead, Mark.
We got 10 minutes.
I can think of one reason why they doing that, because I think I don't know if, like, that particular culture, for whatever reason, feel as though like they need to beat on their women. To I don't know what they're trying to do by doing that. Like,
I guess, do they have a spiritual text or it's just rage? I mean, it just really is that evil rage, I guess, stemming from whatever happened with their culture.
I think it's rage, but I also think it's a backlash of probably how their mom treated them. Or some type of female figure in their life growing up did them wrong.
So the equivalent of maybe some urban communities where there's revolving jails and there's violence and there's gangs, it just is a larger scale, maybe, or more out of hand. So it would be like if an area like that kind of expanded. Do you think?
Yeah. Third world countries is an urban community is a playground.
Well,
compared to that's what I'm saying. Like like them overseas. Oh my,
it's a different breed, bro.
Like the divide is
a totally different.
And slum.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The original.
Like we got evil and bad things happening over here, but them countries overseas and bro.
Evil is evil.
This is a playground compared to what's going on over there.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we do take it more seriously. And evil is evil. I also think that
we just do it in secret.
Yeah.
I think,
that's it.
But also too, like everything that originally I think it's time to revise, sit down at the table and come up with a new purpose and a new vision for America. Because right now it was, white picket fence, then everybody's realizing the banks and, things like that, loans, debt. All right, so what is it that we want? Not everybody will always agree, but I don't know, constitution-wise, is there anything that we could revise to align ourselves again to what the original purpose was of this, which was a Christian Judeo nation that wanted to create a free society where human beings are respected and people, no matter what their race, creed, anything like that could be. So if we reset and say, all right, we want to get back or we want to do that, how do we get there? We need a purpose.
Back in the word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess I'm talking about from a practical standpoint.
That is practical, right?
Okay.
So if you founded this on the Bible, think about it. America is still young. We're not even 600 years in establishment yet, versus other dynasties and all this other, like they've been in thousands of years, they've been in empires, right? So we so young that if you founded this on this, it's like this. Why is it that a Jewish neighborhood can still function very successful? You want to know they only function very successful because of the 5 books of the Bible? They don't even tap into the prophets or the New Testament. So I would say the only reason
Torah.
you look at them as success and they're still having babies, their kids is way more educated than our kids in public school, right? Reciting Torah at 5 years old, 6 years old. Now, I would say it's because they never left a book.
And the reason why I can relate to you every day. It's discipline every day. I've came to faith 2 years ago. Since then, I read the New Testament and then the whole Bible from beginning to end, Old Day. And I study it every day. Every day in the morning, a little bit, Bible Project, YouVersion. I'll go to daily. There's a Bible chat's a good one too. It's almost like GPT is built in it almost. It's like that. And you can ask questions, things like that. It's pretty cool. But it really, challenges with the business, everything like this. And I could relate to that behind the scene where there are some financial challenges that we had, some mistakes, but we're working through them and learning our lessons there. I think there's always a risk and things like that. It's worth it. So
so it's evil is here, right? I would say that stuff that's happening in third world countries and even here in America, in the Western Hemisphere, there's a war, right? There's a war that's happening that you have to be aware of.
Yeah, and what I was about to say there was also when I'm not feeding myself with the spiritual food, when I'm off from that prayer and not consistent, I do feel it.
The flesh start coming, bro.
And then you'll notice I'm going back to my old ways. Oh my God, I just had that thought. I had that thought when I was a kid. Oh, and then God, because when I am open and I'm listening, I'll get some tasks for the day. I'll know, you can have a relationship because that has bridged faith, a relationship that people can have with God on earth. And I think that there are some actors, the guy that was in Angel Studios, the sex trafficking movie.
Love it.
I love what he had to say, where there's a lot of actors, Heath Ledger maybe, or like anybody that would dive into evil to play an evil character. But he prays to ask Jesus how to do it and to take over the character to defeat evil.
He did good on the Passion of the Christ.
He did great.
My goodness.
Did great. They're coming out with the
I didn't see
Resurrection.
that.
That was a great
that?
movie.
I can't watch that.
He prayed to God that his will would be done. And let me tell you, just go home and watch the background story.
That's one movie that I
love it.
That's one movie I didn't watch.
Mel Gibson did amazing.
For some reason,
come on, tap in.
Sound of Freedom. That guy.
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom is a real movie.
Yeah, that thing is good, man. Especially the real guy. I looked at a couple of
Sound of
interviews.
Freedom, I think I saw that, but I didn't watch Passion of Christ.
Yeah, man, stop playing.
Yeah,
I can't watch that. I can, but you know what I'm saying.
Let me read this one scripture because I done lost the point. But this is going to make sense when it comes to why do people do what they do, right? It's in Romans 1. You probably know this, Jeff. But it says, "For God's wrath is revealed from heaven against all godlessness and unrighteousness of people who by their own righteousness suppress the truth, since what can be known about God is evident among them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, that is, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen since the creation of the world. Being understood, though, what he has made, as a result, people are without excuse, for though they knew God, they did not glorify him as God or show gratitude. Instead, their thinking became worthless and their senseless hearts were darkened." And he just goes on to say, claiming to be wise, they became fools. And then they started to serve creation more than the creator. And at the end of the scripture is God gave them over to a reprobate mind. If that's what you want to do, go ahead.
Yeah. And the mercy shows because it could have been completely wiped out. So we're here.
He kept trying to chase you. And there's a portion that says, if this is what you want to do, then go ahead. Destroy your own self.
Yeah.
Right? So that plays a part.
Yeah.
That people don't want God. And we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
You get what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
I think these are all, good points. And we're going to have moving forward, and anybody that is a Muslim, is a Hindu, or any other religion at all. I have a couple people I've been talking to try to get them on just to sit down and talk about, that person's spiritual manual per se, because I'm curious of learning a bit more that way. So I know that on the show, we do talk about, I'm a Christian personally and stuff like that. The organization is, or the campus when it's built is going to be non-religious. And there is a reason for that. That is because we feel like we wouldn't want to deter anybody or anything like that. And if they were to leave truly reformed, that they'd be likely to come to Christ or however, whatever faith. But I think when you're in that encouraged, you're refreshed, you're feeling good, you're more likely to explore. So that's really, really the goal there. That's our role. And it's indirectly. Like I'm not somebody that naturally memorizes script and stuff. I think I kind of take a psychological story aspect. Yeah, I have like a different way. I think everybody has a unique way, and what they do, they could bring to the table. Javon, you are the man. Love having you on. I could have gone all day again. We need to do more of these.
Yes, sir.
I think that we're going to see, it's going to be very interesting how things are going to continue to reveal themselves, especially within the entertainment industry. And like we were saying, Mark, right? It's just, we'll have kind of rogue or topics like this, or that are really different, really just gain knowledge and see how we can position ourselves within the market of being people.
Yeah, having shows like this where like every now and again we have an off-topic show. I think it'll help.
We will. Yeah,
I think it'll help.
And when I say off-topic, meaning like not a foundation or like aligned with like that. Yeah, we could mix in anything really. Anybody with education, which is nice and stuff like that too.
Right.
Anybody with any, it's great.
Because it's good that, for the people to see like, not only we talk about the organization and the wave and the campus and all that, but we can talk about other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And broaden our audience.
Yeah, just multifaceted.
Topics.
Yeah, and then always non-confrontational debate, just like this. So, thanks so much for coming and talking about the evil in Hollywood, among other things. And Mark, great job. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You guys take care. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Ride the Wave. It's been a pleasure having you with us as we explore ways to make a positive impact together. Remember, every little wave creates a ripple of change. We appreciate any support you can provide as we plan to build an all-inclusive, modern campus and empower communities. For details on how you can contribute through various platforms, please visit us at ridethewave.org. Until next time, keep riding the wave of change with us. I'm Jeff Fisher, signing off, but the journey continues.